just so you know, you have to buy tools ahead of time. Watch this video to the end first because the hardest part is having the right tools. I say this so you can't not drive your car for a few days. Imagine you're peacefully revving the 987 into 6,000 RPMs and beyond on a quiet Saturday morning. Your car suddenly violently lurches and drops the RPMs to below 4,000. You press the gas pedal, but the RPMs drop. The car misfires, and it keeps violently lurching. For the better part of 2 weeks, I drove around, not able to fully depress the gas pedal, thinking it was a clogged exhaust system, or bad spark plugs, or something horribly wrong with the engine, and was mentally budgeting the 12 grand or so it takes for a new engine. I discovered a thread on Planet 9, cleaned the mass airflow sensor. My engine was like new, even better. My air oil separator was clogging everything up with oil over time, and it drove so well after this. Look at all this oil in my air intake hose. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of oil. Oh, look at that. That's real bad. If you are having misfires in your 987, then as unlikely as it may seem, it is possible that they are caused by a simple bad sensor on the air intake called the mass airflow sensor. When the sensor becomes dirty or clogged, it can't properly regulate the throttle body, telling it how much to open or close, leading to too much or not enough air going into the system. All of a sudden, too much fuel stays behind the combustion chambers, and your car lurches and misfires because you're burning too much fuel at once. It seems a little bonkers that a little sensor can give you such bad problems, but it does. It drives like a new car after. Most people clean the sensor first because it gets clogged, and then replace the sensor if issues persist. Once I cleaned the sensor, my car drove like new. We'll show you where the sensor is located in the 987, show you a step-by-step guide on how to get to it, replace it if you want to replace it, then show you how to reinstall and enjoy your brand new Boxster or Cayman. See this video, which I'll link above in the top right corner now, and we'll link in the description under this step under chapters. You'll only need to access the top of the car, so don't take the interior shielding off since you don't need to. Congratulations, the hard part is almost done. The most arduous step of this process is buying the right tool. You're going to need to buy two things, depending on what security Torx screws Porsche felt like installing in your 987. From reports and threads that I've gathered, it differs on model and on year, but most have a T5 security Torx bit. Torx normally have 6 points. Torx can have different complications. One is when there's a hole in the middle called a security hole, and another is when they have 5 teeth instead of 6 to be for security. I've included the Torx I needed, linked in the description, which is both 5-pointed and with a security hole, which is what you will most likely need. To make absolute sure, you can take the top off the Boxster and put it into service mode and take a look before buying anything. We're going to take the camera off the stand, we're going to put this in the T25 security bit in a screwdriver, and we're going to go digging in the bottom left corner of the engine bay. So, you'll want to have something soft on, and if we lay down here and take a look in the bottom left corner, here is our mass airflow sensor. And now we're going to mount the camera and remove these two screws. Initially, I had trouble with this part because the filmed and shown Torx bits, not the screenshotted ones, were the wrong ones. So first I ended up dropping my Torx bit inside and barely fished it out. It's gone. Aha. It turns out you need not only a T20 or a T25, and it's not only is it that, but it's not only tamper-proof Torx. It is tamper-proof Torx with 5 sides, not 6. The hardest part is procedure turned out to be shopping, and you have to get one with 5 points. I managed to get these out by playing with different bits, using a CR V6 with a little grabby thingy. And I managed to wedge it in, press it in and wedge it into this and get it out. And this time I use a super magnetized bit so that this is going nowhere. Sorry, Difficult filming angles. Here are the screws removed. With the screws removed, it's pretty straightforward. Let's see how bad this MAF really is. Just wiggle it and then pull on it while wiggling. Oh, that's a lot of dust. And now that it's disconnected, we can see the wires in this clip. You can simply press on this clip and get the wire out. I was able to get it off, sorry for not filming. I was able to get it off by wiggling. Not really much to it, you just pry under with your fingernail and pull. Visually the sensor might look fine, but it's probably dirty. So I'm using just CRC Mass Airflow Sensor Cleaner. And it got pretty windy, so we're back to doing a voiceover in edit. Basically, you want to hold the cleaner about 4 to 8 inches away. 4 might be a little too close. You want to get the little diode, or whatever it's called, the thin wire connecting. I think it's a diode, or the sensor itself, what's being used for sensing. You want to get that. You want to get into the channel, which is where we are spraying now. And then you want to shake it off and gently shake it off and let it dry out in the air before reapplying. You basically want to get it all around, making sure to get the cleaner into all the crevices, applying a little bit, waiting for it to dry off and evaporate off, and then reapplying it, and rinse and repeat as much as you feel comfortable doing, but definitely want to give it a decently thorough cleaning. That ought to do it. So now we can just reconnect it. Might want to wait a little longer for it to dry, but we'll wait for it to dry perfectly, and then just reconnect it. Installation is the same as the removal, but in reverse. Just kidding, I know I promised on this channel to actually show you the steps rather than just say it's in reverse. Unfortunately, this will be one of the rare exceptions because the filming angles made it extremely difficult, but what we will do is use the power of video editing to put the steps here anyway, just so you have a visual reference on what to do step by step and have a guide. Now I'm going to reconnect the sensor to this connection here. And then I'm going to place the sensor back and then reinsert the 2 screws. Golden hour is making the lighting on this difficult. Once you've reconnected the electrical connection, reinsert the mass airflow sensor back into the hole, making sure to line the screws up. The little diode thing goes closer to you to the back of the car. With the sensor reinserted, by hand, insert the 2 screws that came out. After the screws are most of the way in by hand, I use this contraption to get it all the finish getting it in. And you're pretty much done. Then, simply go back to my service mode video to see how to get your car out of service mode and back into a regular driving state. After this procedure, the painful above 4,000 RPM misfires completely went away. I had tried everything. I had tried Techron fuel injector cleaner. I was worrying about everything, but this was a night and day difference. Overall, the car drove super smoothly, and since day one of buying the car, I had had a rough idle. If you are experiencing a rough idle, it is a good indicator of a dirty mass airflow sensor, and so I highly recommend cleaning your MAF. My rough idle got smooth. At high RPMs, the car drove perfectly. Even my gas mileage went up by a bit. I think because mine had never been cleaned before, and because of the failed air oil separator, there was just a lot of gunk on it. That sums up today's video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe.
As I'm driving to the store, I'm remembering, you know why Porsche does this? There was a really good YouTube video that, if I remember, I'll link it right now as a card in the top right. But the MAF sensor through like the OEM sensor through the Porsche website or Porsche part dealers, $600 for the OEM. So make whatever conclusion you want, you will from that. Pelican Parts I think has it for like $120. First we're going to try cleaning the sensor. Then if it looks real bad, it gives the same issues, then we'll try replacing it. But Porsche, thank you for making amazing cars.